happening everywhere.
I think you would see it across virtually every spectrum of work in the United States that are typically low-skilled.
Yet no one wants to talk about it.
For example, restaurants where you need a line cook or a dishwasher or a busser, construction industry, cleaning services, people who want their house cleaned, just about anything that they could get themselves into.
There are millions of undocumented immigrants who work in the United States who don't have any legal documents to do it.
There are employers that will hire them without any documentation, just put them to work because they need the work. There are employers who will hire them thinking that they are documented because it's relatively easy to buy a fake employment card and social security number to work with.
It's a complex issue, but it's undeniable that companies employing undocumented workers often have a competitive advantage. This stems from their ability to offer lower wages and potentially avoid certain labor regulations. I recently experienced this firsthand during my home renovation. The exterior painting was completed in a week by a crew of 5 Hispanic men employed by a Hispanic-owned company. Their work ethic was impressive, with long hours and dedication, even through weekends and challenging weather. Notably, the company's bid was significantly lower than competitors, making it an attractive option. The 5 Hispanic men, aged 18 to 30, arrived at the residence at sunrise and remained until sunset. None of the individuals spoke English. They had all entered the United States illegally through the Texas border in 2022. While I was pleased with the exterior paint job, I opted to explore other options instead of using the Hispanic-owned company. I chose a different company owned by a white middle-aged couple, despite their higher bid. The painting crew for the interior work consisted of a white male, a black female, and her teenage son. The painting itself was satisfactory, but the pace of the work was unusually slow. It took over 4 weeks to complete, with the painters working from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., taking lunch breaks at noon for an hour. They did not work on weekends and holidays. Based on the circumstances, I suspect that the job would have been completed in a week if the company using illegal labor had been chosen. The illegal worker was likely paid less than $100 for a 14 to 15-hour workday. Companies that have access to illegal workers have a competitive edge due to the reality of the situation. These companies can hire illegal immigrants who can work and live together, sharing housing costs and other expenses, giving them an advantage over companies that hire local legal residents. The difference in work standards, living standards, and employment regulations create unfair competition for businesses that hire local legal residents. Despite the rhetoric around illegal immigration, both Republican and Democrat leaders have historically turned a blind eye to the practice, as it benefits business interests. The underground labor market is a well-established network that funnels illegal immigrants into low-wage jobs, often in agriculture, construction, janitorial services, and the leisure and hospitality industry. No politicians truly want to be in the crosshairs of businesses that support their candidacy. As I reflect on my experience, I realize that if people truly want to combat illegal immigration, they must be willing to put their money where their mouth is. This means hiring local, legal residents, even if it costs a little more and takes longer to complete projects. By doing so, we can level the playing field for companies that follow the law and ensure fair wages and working conditions for all employees. The current flow of illegal immigrants to the country are simply unsustainable. Hopefully, President Trump and his vice presidential hopeful J.D. Vance will energize the American local legal workforce and balance that with providing pathways for legal migrant workers. For most people who enter the country illegally, their hopes and dreams for a better life are real. And based on my personal interactions with them, I think most are decent, hardworking men and women.
Day one of my new administration, we will shut down this travesty and defend the wealth of hardworking middle-class families.
Former President Trump is promising to tighten the border, terminate work permits, and start mass deportations, citing as many as 15 million people who could be removed.
They should be in their country. This is not sustainable.